Hello and welcome back to Do Not Take This Cat Home. Today, we're gonna go watch a movie. Because what could go wrong watching a movie? It's been a while since a film came out that looked interesting enough for you to drag yourself to a movie theater. But there's a showing of one such film at the old theater. The movie was a little too niche to be picked up by the new cinema that opened right across the street. That's okay though. You're not exactly a fan of the crowds. And nothing ruins the experience of watching a new movie for you more than a noisy audience. Now let's go to the new cinema. You don't know why, but you don't really feel great about the idea of being alone right now. Deciding to wait for the movie you've been anticipating to be available on DVD or streaming, you join the long line outside the new cinema. By the time you've reached the ticket booth, you just want to get inside. So you pick a movie at random and take your ticket from the tired-looking teenager manning the booth. The decor is chic and sleek, and the inside is busting it down. The decor is chic and sleek, and the inside is bustling with people. It's not what you're usually into. But it's kind of nice not being alone. Even if you feel a little lonely watching families and groups of friends laughing among themselves. You'd get some popcorn, but the lines at the concession stands are long and the prices are criminal anyway. You go through the halls and follow the signs to the theater designated on your ticket before heading inside. Nah bro, I would wait in line. I gotta have that popcorn. Theater popcorn is fucking peak. You sigh at the sight of the absolutely crowded theater. You head towards a seat only to be told by the person next to it that it's being saved for someone. This happens a few more times before you finally manage to get yourself settled into a seat annoyingly off-center to the screen. But the screen is at least visible, if not a little too close, so you grit your teeth and bear it. The light fades out, and the chatter doesn't. The rest of the audience seems content to talk through the commercials and even through the trailers. You figure the chatter will stop when the movie actually begins. But it doesn't. But it doesn't get even slightly quieter as the opening scene starts to play out. You sigh out loud, not thinking anyone would hear you anyway. This is why you avoid movie theaters like the plague. Whoa. Suddenly, the screen changes, showing the face of a black cat. A familiar black cat. Confused murmurs fill the room, but then the cat on the screen meows. Nya, nya, nya. Huh? The sound is strange, and not at all like any cat should sound. Haunting, almost melodic. And layered, as if made of multiple voices of different creatures. Creatures that would probably never say, nya, nya, nya. You sit in confusion, wondering why you haven't already gotten up and left to complain to the cinema staff. But then you hear it. It's scattered and dissonant at first, but among the crowd, people start to chant along with the cat on the screen. Soon, the entire room is chanting in perfect unison, everyone staring intently at the cat on the screen. You're feeling strangely drawn to the screen yourself, but the compulsion to stare blankly like the others isn't that strong. For now. Also, you start to notice out of the corner of your eye that some of the people in your immediate vicinity are looking at you. No. They're outright staring holes into you, even as they continue chanting. They don't miss a beat as they slowly begin to frown at you in blatant disapproval. Their scowls deepen as time goes on, as if they're getting impatient. Let's try to blend in. Thinking fast, you look to the screen and begin to chant in tandem with the crowd. Nya, 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 ah, ah, ah. Nya, 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 ah, ah, ah. You feel the harshness of their collective gaze start to ebb away, the air in the theater becoming lighter once again. You release air shakily, just realizing that you've been holding your breath earlier. You feel stuck. Surely you can't just up and leave now. Not after whatever all that was. The people around you all seem fine now. But there's no telling if they'd get aggressive at you for even moving too much. Never mind outright getting up and leaving. You decide to let this run its course. Hopefully, someone will come along. Right? Or at least turn the film off? You continue to chant along with everyone. Nya, 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 ah, ah, ah. You start to feel lightheaded. You feel as if you could fall asleep, but your eyes don't feel heavy in the slightest. You try to look around and gauge the other's emotional state. But you can't seem to look away from the screen. You try again, but you're still locked into eye contact with the cat on screen. Nya, 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 ah, ah, ah. You attempt to physically force your line of vision away. You steel your nerves, ready to throw yourself to the ground if you need to. But your body only gets as far as tensing up for a moment before completely loosening itself again, making you lay back limply into your seat. You think you should be panicking right now, but even your brain feels limp. Your thoughts, a vaguely muted pastel pink, airy, sickeningly sweet and loosely spun, like cotton candy. You like cotton candy. You think you shouldn't mind your thoughts and body being like cotton candy either. So, why get up and ruin that? It's nice here. You're more at peace than you've ever felt before in such a crowded room. Still chanting, You've never felt so aligned and in tune with another person, let alone with an entire room full of complete strangers. You're not alone. Out of the corner of your eye, the person next to you starts to sink back even further into their chair. They sink more, then more. Not like they're slouching or reclining, but more like they're melting, deflating. Their skin bunches up and wrinkles like fabric, as if their muscles, their bones, have started to disintegrate. Their eyes dim before sinking into their sockets. Their mouth, still attempting to chat, falls open over a cut-off nya, gaping as the word ends in an awful hiss, a final weak release of air. You muse thoughtfully about whether or not you should be distressed at the sight. But even then, the blanket of peace doesn't leave you. Suddenly, from the pile of skin and clothes next to you, you see a lump moving around. You watch in dazed fascination as the lump makes its way to the part of the skin where the head used to be. And out of the mouth crawls a tiny black kitten. Nya, 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 ah, ah, ah. You can hear the familiar hissing sound all around you now, as the unified chants start to fade, only to be replaced with the faint mewling of kittens. Finally, your voice is the only one still chanting, still human, and alone. Again. You don't want that. You can't go back to that. Not again. Not again. Please. Just then, you go completely limp. Your body feels light, but it might as well weigh several tons, because you realize quite suddenly that you can't move. Not an inch. You can't shift your eyes to look around. You can't even breathe. But somehow, the chant continues to creak weakly from your mouth. Nya, 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 ah, ah, ah. A few kittens come forward and perch themselves on the chairs around you, watching your sinking body, mewling as they wait for their youngest sibling to emerge from you. Dozens of glowing eyes peer down at you, and as your eyes start to cave into the sockets of your softening skull, you manage to make out the silhouette of a familiar cat perching on the seat right in front of you. Your vision finally fades, and as the same hiss of air expels itself from your mouth, the last thing you sense is something small and alive, shifting eagerly under your skin. Ending 18. Happy birthday. Try to leave the theater. This is too weird. I need to get out of here. Gathering your courage, or perhaps putting your fear to use, you stand up, fully intending to leave the theater, when everything comes to an abrupt stop. All of the chanting stops, even the cats chanting on the screen. You tense and risk a glance around the theater. They're all staring at you. Every single one of them. They're not moving. They're not even blinking. You swallow. Throat suddenly dry, even though a nervous sweat completely soaks through your clothes. You highly doubt that sitting back down will fix the situation. Your legs are shaking under the audience's unnatural, intense scrutiny. But you force yourself to step forward, and forward, and forward, until you finally reach the end of the aisle. You feel their collective gaze, even worse on the staircase. All their heads have turned uncomfortably to the left to look directly at you. The screen illuminates their faces, making clear their blank scowls. They seem even more upset than they had been minutes ago, identical frown lines digging between their brows. You keep going, the heavy atmosphere becoming more and more oppressive with every step. You're so tense with anticipation that you fully expect someone to grab you from behind. But no one does. You don't hear any of them even get up. You exit the theater, holding your breath as the doors close behind you. You briskly walk through the halls, putting as much distance as possible between you and that theater full of people. Finally, reaching the lobby, you just barely manage to catch yourself from falling to the floor as you gulp in huge gasps of air. You expect to feel relief as your breathing calms, but you feel a lingering sense of dread that only spikes once you finally notice it, as well as its source. You look up, and your stomach sinks. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. No, thank you. No, thank you. All the people in the lobby area of the movie theater, everyone in line at the concession stand, all of them are staring at you. And they look even angrier than the people in the theater. You don't hesitate this time. You duck your head, avoiding eye contact, and leave the cinema. You ignore the glares from everyone in the ticket booths and the lines leading to them. You make your way home. Whenever you dare to look up at someone on the way, you flinch at the blatant anger, fury, and disgust on their face. You think you start to hear the faint sound of a cat's meowing behind you. Or maybe a kitten's? Doesn't matter. You just want to go home. You reach your front door and fumble with the keys. Cowering from the look of pure hatred on your neighbor's face as he stares at you from his door. Finally, you get inside your apartment, lock all the locks on the door, and slide down with your back against it till you're sitting on the floor. You allow yourself a moment to breathe. Now home, your heartbeat calms, and your fear slowly bleeds from you, leaving you feeling strangely empty. You pass the kitchen and head to your room, and slip under the covers of your bed, trying to fall asleep. Maybe it's all just a bad dream. As you fall into a fitful sleep, sure to be full of nightmares of glaring eyes, you try to ignore the ever-increasing sounds of cats meowing and yowling in the distance outside your apartment. Ending 17. Black Sheep. Alright, let's go old theater. You eagerly buy your ticket from the kind old man in the booth and head inside. It's barren of any trace of other people, and the decor looks like it hasn't changed since the 80s. Fuck yeah. That's like peak decor, honestly. It's probably just my nostalgia, though. But it is. Maybe even the 70s. Also great aesthetic. But it's what you were counting on. You consider buying some popcorn. You can't help but be concerned that everything at the concession stand might be expired. Oh shit, dude. Even expired theater popcorn's great. I will take that risk. You move on and walk through the halls, finally locating the theater designated on your ticket stub. As expected, the theater your movie will be playing in is completely empty. Perfect. You pick a spot right in the middle, even counting the seats and taking into consideration the gap of the staircase. As you settle in, the dim lights fade away, leaving the room pitch black for a few seconds. Before the screen flickers on, no commercials or trailers pop up. The movie just begins. Pleased, you shrug and let yourself get immersed in the opening scene. But just as you're getting into the premise, the doors open behind you, momentarily casting light into the room and ruining the atmosphere. You hold in a frustrated sigh. It's a public establishment after all. The place can't exactly afford to stay open if you're the only customer. You try to refocus on the movie, but you sense the new presence slowly shifting around the theater before heading in your general direction. What? You gape in utter disbelief as a stranger shuffles down the aisle, only to sit right in front of you. There's no one else here and plenty of places to sit. The stranger is also unusually tall, even with the stadium-like arrangement of the seats being on a somewhat steep incline. They're completely blocking your view. Yeah, move to another spot. That'd be my first instinct. You don't want to risk escalating the situation further. This whole thing is already making you uneasy. Why would they choose to sit right in front of you? Surely they know you wouldn't be able to see past them. Shaking your head with a passive-aggressive scoff in the stranger's direction, you reluctantly pick another, less perfect seat in the theater. But as you settle down, you see the strange person get up, only to once again sit down in the seat directly in front of you. You look around somewhat helplessly, as if waiting for someone to silently agree with you about how odd all of this is, or at least inform you that it's all an elaborate prank. But there's no one else here with you. That's how you've always liked it, but you can't help but think that maybe it would be nice to have someone else here if it meant not being alone with this weird jerk. Move to another spot. You move again. And again, they sit right in front of you. You bristle, annoyed and a little humiliated. Are they getting a kick out of this or something? You've wasted enough time with this jerk that you don't even know what's going on in the movie anymore. Aw, alright, I'll confront him. You hate confrontation. You can already feel your palms starting to sweat at the idea of it. Your throat closing up and your body starting to shake. You've always been more of a flighter than a fighter. But you paid for this ticket. You've wanted to watch this movie for ages. And now this total stranger has ruined the entire experience for you. You're all alone in this theater. There's no one who will help you if something goes wrong. But you're angry enough that you ignore the signs of your body begging you to put as much distance as you can between yourself and this stranger. You stand up. Even standing and higher up on the incline, the stranger is still at least a head taller than you. The movie continues to play in the background, but you feel as if a hush immediately falls heavily over the theater at your movement. As if you can sense the stranger anticipating what you plan to do next. You square your shoulders and force a little bass into your voice. Hey! The effort makes your words come out more harshly than you intended, like a sudden and vicious bark. But you figure they deserve it anyway. You're being a real jerk, you know. Just what are you playing at, huh? Are you trying to piss me off? Hello? Brock? The silence that follows your words is deafening. So much that you glance at the screen only to find that the movie has paused? Your attention is ripped back to the stranger in front of you as they shift slightly, like a small animal trying desperately to anticipate the moves of a predator. You don't move an inch. You don't look away. You don't dare to blink. Instead, your eyes widen as a person's head turns. Then turns some more. Then turns more. Beyond what should be possible. Neck bones cracking. To face you directly. Ah! You can't move. Wide, glowing eyes rest above a wider, grinning mouth, gaze down at you. The stranger opens their mouth, and what comes out is something impossible to comprehend. What? The voice is endlessly deep and creaks like a weighty door, foreboding and oddly melodic, alluring. But it also snaps you out of your terrified trance, and before you know it, you're already out the door. You run through the halls of the empty theater, heading for the exit. You feel something watching you from behind, but you're too afraid to look. The exit now in sight, you sprint forward and burst through the doors. You look around frantically and spot the crowded cinema across the street. People, that's what you need. Safety in numbers and all that. Without thinking, you rush into the street when a sinking sensation crawls down your spine, compelling you to look behind you. Don't look behind you, don't look behind you, don't look behind you, don't look behind you. Look behind you. Despite your resistance, you feel your head turning to look back of its own accord. While in the middle of the street, you catch a glimpse of a grotesque-looking person standing behind the glass doors of the old theater, watching you intensely, cradling something in their arms, something familiar. But I'm getting fucking isekai'd. Oh, Truxon! A glimpse is all you get. As a truck speeds forward and crashes into your body, you're killed on impact, your body splattered across the road, and crushed further under the heavy tires. Ending 16. Poor screening arrangements. Let's go to the new cinema. Refusing to even risk a peek over your shoulder, you rush across the street to the new cinema theater. You didn't realize that it felt like you've been surrounded by some kind of dreadful pressure. Until it very suddenly vanishes, leaving you feeling more than a little shaken. But at least breathing comes easier. You think it's within your best interest to repress everything that just happened. Yeah. Deciding to wait for the movie you've been anticipating to be available on DVD or streaming, you join the long line outside the new cinema. I think this is going to be the same, because we're going to go into the cinema. Let's just try and leave the theater. This is too weird. Feeling uncomfortable, you decide to leave the theater. There's still enough time left in the day to do something else. Now what? Okay. And then that just takes us back to the other choices. Alrighty. That will be all for today. Like this video if you like this. And subscribe to go on more creepy stranger adventures. Check out my Patreon where I do achievement hunting and other fun extras. Stay safe out there, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!